Okay, so I bet you've got one of these in your coin jar somewhere.
Hmm.
A 1943 penny,
Yeah.
the one that looks kind of silvery.
Right.
And now you're probably thinking, hey, is this thing worth anything?
You'd be surprised how many times I get asked about those.
I bet. You've probably heard the rumors about these pennies being super valuable. Like, did I just hit the jackpot?
Let me guess, you're thinking, is this my lucky day?
Huh. Guilty as charged. So what's the deal with these 1943 pennies?
Well, I'm a numismatist,
Okay.
which basically means I study coins,
Okay.
I geek out over coins, and the 1943 penny, it's one of those coins that sparks a lot of excitement
Yeah.
and a lot of misconceptions.
Okay, so is this a case of common penny extraordinary hype?
Most of the time, yes.
Okay.
You see, in 1943, the U.S. was in the thick of World War II,
Right.
and copper,
Yeah.
a key ingredient in making pennies,
Makes sense.
was in high demand for the war effort.
They needed that copper for ammo and all sorts of wartime essentials.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the U.S. Mint decided to switch things up and make pennies out of steel, instead
Oh, wow.
coating them in zinc for a bit of protection.
So that's why they look so silvery.
Yes.
Okay.
Just imagine the surprise when people started finding these new silvery pennies in their change.
Wow. Can you imagine the headlines? Copper penny goes to war. Or something like that.
Right.
But wouldn't people have been a bit worried? I mean, steel doesn't exactly scream valuable.
You're right. It was a big change.
Yeah.
Some people even hoarded the old copper pennies,
Really?
thinking they'd be worth more later.
Wow.
But overall, the public accepted the steel pennies as a necessary sacrifice for the war effort.
Interesting. So these steel pennies were kind of a symbol of wartime resilience in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're a tangible reminder of the resourcefulness and adaptability of that era. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky.
Okay.
A lot of these steel pennies circulated for so long that the zinc coating wore off, exposing the steel underneath.
Oh, no. Rusty pennies. That's a collector's nightmare.
It is.
Oh, wait.
And rust significantly impacts a coin's value.
Right.
But even those well-worn steel pennies have their place in history.
Yeah.
Now, as for their value,
Yeah.
well, a circulated steel penny might only fetch a few cents.
Right.
But a pristine, uncirculated one,
Yeah.
that could be worth a bit more.
Okay.
Maybe a few dollars.
So it's all about condition, even for these common steel pennies.
Precisely.
Okay.
But hold on, because there's a twist to this tale.
Ooh, I like twists.
You see, amongst these millions of steel pennies, something truly extraordinary happened.
What happened?
A few copper pennies slipped through the cracks.
Wait, what? Copper pennies in 1943.
Yes.
How is that even possible?
Well, nobody knows for sure how it happened, but the prevailing theory is that a few copper planchettes,
Okay.
those are the blank discs used to make coins,
Right.
got stuck somewhere in the minting process,
Mhm.
maybe in a bin or a chute,
Yeah?
and then somehow they got dislodged and mixed in with the steel planchettes.
Wow.
It's a bit like finding a needle in a haystack,
Yeah.
but instead of a needle, it's a copper penny worth potentially thousands of dollars.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars for a penny.
That's right.
This just got real.
It did.
So how can you tell if you've stumbled upon one of these ultra-rare copper pennies?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The first thing you can do is the magnet test.
Okay.
A steel penny will stick to a magnet. A
Right.
copper one won't.
So if my penny clings to that fridge magnet, I can safely assume it's not one of those elusive copper treasures.
Most likely, yes. But let's say your penny doesn't stick to the magnet.
Okay.
What's the next step?
Well, I guess I'd be pretty excited at this point, thinking I might have hit the jackpot.
I don't blame you. But before you start celebrating, there are a few more things to consider.
Okay.
Take a close look at the color of the penny.
All right.
A genuine 1943 copper penny will have that distinct reddish-brown hue we associate with copper.
Right.
If it looks off color, maybe a bit too pale or too brassy,
Yeah.
it could be a sign that it's a steel penny that's been plated with copper.
Ah, so someone might try to pass off a regular steel penny as a copper one by giving it a coppery makeover.
Exactly. Counterfeiters can be pretty clever.
Wow.
They might use various techniques to make a steel penny look like it's made of copper.
Hmm.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
You see, sometimes it's not just about what a coin is made of,
Right.
but also about the tiny details that reveal its authenticity.
Okay.
For example, if someone's trying to alter a 1948 penny to make a fake 43,
Yeah.
the 3 might look a bit squished or uneven compared to the other numbers.
Oh, so I should be playing detective, comparing the 3 to the other numbers to see if the style matches.
You got it. It's those little inconsistencies that can be giveaways. Another thing to check is the edge of the coin.
Okay.
A genuine 1943 copper penny should have a smooth, even edge.
Right.
If you see any roughness or irregularities, it could be a sign that the coin has been tampered with.
Wow, this is getting pretty detailed. I'm starting to see why people get so passionate about coin collecting.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle.
It is.
Trying to decipher the clues and uncover the truth behind each coin.
Absolutely. And speaking of puzzles,
Yeah.
let's talk about another important clue, the zinc coating. Remember we discussed how those steel pennies were coated in zinc?
Right.
Well, a genuine 1943 copper penny should have no zinc coating whatsoever.
Okay, so if I see any silvery or grayish patches, especially around the edges, that's a major red flag.
Exactly. It means someone's probably tried to disguise a steel penny as a copper one by adding a zinc coating. Now, even if you've done all these checks and you're still convinced you might have a genuine 1943 copper penny, there's one crucial step you absolutely cannot skip.
And what's that?
Professional authentication.
Right, you mentioned that earlier. So where do you go to get a coin authenticated?
Right.
And what exactly does that process involve?
There are reputable coin dealers and grading services that specialize in authenticating and grading coins.
Okay.
Two of the most well-known and respected grading services are PCGS, which stands for Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, which stands for Numismatic Guarantee Corporation.
So these are like the Supreme Court of the coin world, ultimate authorities on authenticity.
Pretty much. These grading services have expert numismatists on staff who have years of experience examining coins under high magnification.
Wow.
They know exactly what to look for, from the tiniest scratches to the subtlest variations in the metal composition.
So they're looking for any signs that a coin might be fake or altered in any way.
Exactly. They're like coin detectives.
Yeah.
Meticulously analyzing every aspect of the coin to determine its authenticity and grade. And if they determine a coin is genuine, they'll encapsulate it in a protective holder with a label that states its grade and authenticity.
Okay.
This is often referred to as slabbing a coin.
So getting a coin slabbed by a reputable grading service is like getting a seal of approval.
Yeah.
A guarantee of its authenticity and value.
Precisely. And it can significantly increase a coin's value, especially if it's a rare and desirable coin, like a 1943 copper penny.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're spending thousands of dollars on a coin, you want to be absolutely certain it's the real deal.
Right.
But I imagine these grading services don't come cheap, right?
You're right. There are fees involved. But think of it as an investment.
Okay.
If you have a truly valuable coin, having it professionally authenticated and graded will protect your investment and ensure you get its true market value if you decide to sell it.
So it's like getting an appraisal for a house before you put it on the market.
Exactly. You want to know what you're dealing with? Now, before you rush off to send your penny to a grading service, let's talk about some practical tips for finding a reputable coin dealer or grading service.
Yes, please. Because honestly, after hearing about all these counterfeiting techniques, I'm feeling a little paranoid. I wouldn't want to get scammed.
I hear ya. It's smart to be cautious. First and foremost, do your research.
Okay.
Don't just trust any random person claiming to be a coin expert.
Right.
Look for established businesses with a good reputation. Check online reviews. See what other collectors are saying about a particular dealer or grading service.
So it's kind of like choosing a doctor or a mechanic. You want to make sure they have a good track record.
Exactly. You want someone who's knowledgeable, trustworthy, and has your best interests at heart.
Right.
Another good tip is to look for dealers who are members of professional organizations like the American Numismatic Association, or ANA for short.
Okay.
These organizations have codes of ethics and standards that their members must adhere to. It's like a stamp of approval, letting you know that the dealer is committed to ethical practices.
Okay, so I'm checking reviews, looking for ANA membership. Any other red flags I should watch out for?
Absolutely. Be wary of dealers who pressure you into buying or selling a coin or make promises that sound too good to be true.
Right.
Remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And always trust your gut instinct.
Yeah.
If something feels off, don't be afraid to walk away.
Good advice. Now, let's say I found a dealer I trust.
Okay.
And I want to get my penny authenticated.
Right.
What happens next? Do I just hand over my precious penny and hope for the best?
Well, not quite. First of all, never let your coin out of your sight, especially at a coin show or a busy shop.
Okay.
There have been cases of dishonest dealers switching out genuine coins with fakes when the owner isn't looking.
Whoa, that's unsettling. I never would have thought of that.
It's a sad reality, but it's important to be aware of these scams.
Right.
If a dealer nets to take your coin to the back room for some reason,
Yeah.